It's been a long time coming. 5 days of parliament were lost before the UPA decided that it was going to come forth and risk really a debate followed by vote under Rule 184. But all of that only came through when the government became sure of its numbers. Joining us this morning, Paranjoy Thakurta, senior journalist, and Atish Srivastava, deputy editor, to take us through the various scenarios and some of the contradictions in the stands that have been taken by the various parties, including those like the BSP and the Samajwadi Party that Nida Khan just referred to. It's very important. Let me come to you first, Atish, to get a sense really of how this story is developing through the day, as well as, of course, in the lead up to tomorrow and the end of the week, which will see voting very crucially in the upper house. That's where all the scenarios really come into play, don't they, Atish? Because the Mayawati BSP has given a lifeline to this government going into the Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha is a tricky issue. She can't abstain. She will have to vote.
And that is the biggest worry for Congress government, because they know they will manage the numbers in Lok Sabha. They do have a majority there. But what happens in Rajya Sabha? Because BSP has made it clear that they want promotion quota to be discussed before FDI. So in principle, they may be against FDI. That is what they'll be saying. But when it comes down to vote, if you carefully listen to what Mayawati has been saying, if it comes down to vote, they will not let BJP win. So in that case, you can be relaxed with the fact that BSP will vote in favor of government. But Rajya Sabha, they have made it clear that promotion quota is the priority. And Samajwadi Party has said that if promotion quota will be discussed, we will do anything to stall that. So they can be ruckus in the Rajya Sabha, and those two parties are very important if we have to pass FDI in Rajya Sabha.
Well, that's the central question. Insiders are telling us that we could see repeats of the scenes that we witnessed during the Women's Reservation Bill as well as the Lokpal Bill in the Rajya Sabha, because there will be, of course, a prerogative for the BSP to take a clear stand. Mere abstention, the government has made it clear to Mayawati, won't do. How do you see this squaring with her own politics and the positions she's taken in the lead up to this session?
You see, the Bahujan Samaj Party has always been very, very opportunistic in many of its alliances.
But is it a wrong thing to be opportunistic? After all, there are no free lunches in politics.
And Ms. Mayawati have always justified opportunism. They've always believed that the greater the political instability there is, the good for the party. I mean, that's always been their official position. So I'm not passing moral judgment on rights or wrong, but it's a fact that Ms. Mayawati, in partnership with the Bharatiya Janata Party, had been Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh on 3 occasions in the past. And this is the same Ms. Mayawati who's today arguing that our party is also seriously thinking whether it should be standing with those parties that encourage communal forces.
Very important, because
now that's very, very clear. And when
but it's
she
a very
was asked,
important ploy, Mr. Thakurta, isn't it? Bringing in the communal dimension, because it forces the Samajwadi Party also to be very calculated in the way it espouses its own position in the House.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And for the Congress as well. As soon as the Congress saw that Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav and the Samajwadi Party may not be playing ball with the Congress on the issue of FDI in multi-brand retail, having already taken a position on this, it was easy for them to divide and rule. And that is exactly what has happened, because the Samajwadi Party has 22 MPs and the Bahujan Samaj Party has 21 MPs.
Yes.
And what's very interesting is when Ms. Mayawati was asked whether whether the passage of the reservation in promotions for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, in government job was a precondition.
Yes.
To pledge support to the UPA. She said no.
Well, that's on the face of it.
That's the official position.
That's on the face of it. They're going to play to their own galleries, as you mentioned. But let me ask you this. BJP must be particularly vexed, because when it came to appointing the president, when it came down to the crux, the Samajwadi Party once again let the Bharatiya Janata Party and by extension the NDA down. Here too, a month and a half back, Akhilesh, as Chief Minister, came out and spoke very contrary to what his father seemed to suggest. That was the first time when we realized that there was a slight divide in the SP ranks itself. The BJP hasn't been able to bell the Samajwadi Party cat, if I could use puns.
Well, Rahul, there's a theory within the BJP that you cannot trust Mulayam Singh. So that is something which is there. Most of the leaders know Mulayam Singh. They work with Mulayam Singh, especially leaders like Rajnath Singh. They know that you cannot put in your money on Mulayam Singh. He will back out at the time when you need his support. Apart from that,
Well, the 1999 trust vote.
they've seen it before as well. So
Yes.
point is that despite of not having numbers, they still want to go ahead with the provision of debate under voting and debate, is because they want to use this opportunity to expose the parties like DMK and Samajwadi Party and BSP, because DMK and SAPA, they both participated in the All India Bandh. They were there with BJP sharing the platform. Then suddenly, when it comes down to voting and expressing your actual self, that whether you are in favor of FDI or not, they do not. So that is what they're trying to expose these parties in front of people, because they know that government will not fall, no matter what happens. So how do they take it forward? By exposing these parties and playing to the gallery, nothing apart from that.
Centrally, there is one larger question that emerges. Going for broke, i.e., going in for a vote after a debate, would mean that if Parliament were to stand with the government, then the opposition loses the trump card that they seem to have played in the run-up to this election, in the run-up to this debate, which was...
See, the trump card had already been used up, and that was a no confidence motion. When Ms. Mamata Banerjee and the Trinamool Congress with 19 MPs decided to move a no confidence motion without bringing the BJP and the left on board, you straight away, I mean, as soon as that that vote of confidence or the proposal to have a confidence vote was defeated, 6 months you cannot move another vote for no confidence. But you know, so that way.
But also, if you're talking about the sense of Parliament, you're talking about the sense of the House.
No, 1 minute.
And if the UPA were to win,
pointed out earlier, you had the government saying that the opposition is disrupting Parliament. But why was the opposition disrupting Parliament for 5 days? You said you don't want a debate with voting on this whole issue of FDI in retail, and you gave all kinds of reasons for it.
Yes.
Finally, you've agreed to it. Okay. Suppose you manage the Lok Sabha, and everybody knows that, I mean, there are no surprises expected in the Lok Sabha. But if in the Rajya Sabha, where the numbers are very, very precariously balanced, I mean, it's unlikely that Sachin Tendulkar will stop playing cricket in Eden Gardens and come to Parliament House. Or
every vote counts.
Yeah, that's right. So, it's a way of embarrassing the government at best. The opposition can hope that it could just embarrass the government if the government
what we're going to do is,
in the Rajya Sabha.
As we go into our coverage, we're going to pull out the numbers in the Rajya Sabha, and I'm going to take Atish through some of those scenarios. We're going to have our producers bring out the graphics of the numbers as they stack up in the Rajya Sabha to get a better sense of the numbers game. And Atish, just how close this could actually come down to, and why is the BSP's 15 MPs so critical here? Because an abstention would mean, and our graphics will bear that out, an abstention will mean that the government will lose in the Rajya Sabha by the most wafer thins of margins. Is that not a fact?
This is a fact, because he cannot abstain. BSP cannot abstain. If they do, then government will lose in Rajya Sabha. BJP knows for sure. There are leaders who are in touch with Mayawati. As Pranjay also pointed out, there's been an alliance between Mayawati and BJP before, but they want BSP to embarrass the government, abstain, and it will fall. But how far that will be successful, because we were speaking to the leaders, they said that eventually Congress will manage. There are agencies which they have, and
what are your inside sources telling you? Because there have been parleys between the Congress and BSP over the last few days. We know that for sure.
BSP has made it very clear that they want some assurance on promotion quota. They want a discussion on promotion quota, because they want to cater to the core vote bank, and that is what they're doing. They are not that much concerned about it.
How does the government balance? Because you have the Samajwadi Party that's dead against these promotion quotas. So how will the government balance it? Would this mean that the Samajwadi Party, Mr. Thakurta, would this mean that the Samajwadi Party will also be given assurances on the minorities quota issue, which could of course fall foul of the courts?
Time alone will tell whether that happens or not. But what I find very, very interesting is the statements that Ms. Mayawati made in Lucknow yesterday. You know, it's interesting that at one level she says, you know, we are happy that the government is not forcing every state government to, you know, accept foreign direct investment in multi-brand retail. We don't want to go along with the communal forces and so on and so forth. At the same time, virtually in the same breath, Ms. Mayawati is critical of FDI. He says what happened in Thailand and Malaysia, they invited FDI, but the results were not very good. This is exactly what she said. Then she said the claim that is being made by the government that if the likes of Walmart and Carrefour come to India, then that will bring down the prices of various items of mass consumption, food and fruits and vegetables. He says that's nonsense. I mean, exact words. He says he said that the government's claim that FDI and retail will bring down the prices is not correct. He says the wrong economic policies have led to price rise and growing unemployment. So she's playing both sides.
But she's come a long way. Atish, she's come a long way, because a few months ago, if you heard Mayawati's position and posturing on FDI, you would have come away with the feeling that she was completely opposed to FDI. Today, that is significantly been altered. But I want to ask you a larger question, and that is the question that is being posed by the TMC today, that were let down supposedly by the NDA and the left on the issue of bringing a confidence vote. Now, they have come out and taken a slightly divergent view from the larger issue of voting, which is going to happen tomorrow. They have said that they want the FEMA amendments to also be cleared, which is another way of cornering the government. They said that really is the real supreme test, not a debate followed by a vote. They said if the left and the BJP were serious, they would have done what we've done.
That is what TMC is saying, and not only TMC, left has also been saying that you need to pass that amendment, and that is something which all these
parties the left never moved.
That is what
they haven't moved the notice.
Neither BJP nor left, they did not move the notice because they're just doing politics. They know that they need to embarrass the government, but TMC is serious about it. They moved the trust motion, whether they managed to get 50 MPs or not, but at least they moved the trust motion. They're also doing politics in their local West Bengal state, proving that we moved out of the UPA. We are serious about bringing the government down.
Well, there is this.
I want to add to what Atish just said. There's a huge amount of posturing, because as in the case of the SP and the BSP, Uttar Pradesh politics is determining their positions in Delhi. Similarly, in the case of the Trinamool Congress and the CPIM, the West Bengal politics of West Bengal is determining their position. Therefore, the CPM has said, look, Mamta, you were immature the way you moved the no confidence motion with only 19 MPs. At the same time, I think, as you have rightly pointed out, the real key issue would be the amendment to the Foreign Exchange Management Act. We'll know exactly who votes for whom when that happens. And remember, as you mentioned Pranab Mukherjee.
Yes.
Who would have imagined that TMC and CPM would find themselves on the same side, then SP and BSP would find themselves on the same side?
Well, that's an important point.